The main conference was to be held in the early evening, just before some ministers were able to say happy birthday to him. Field Marshal Keitel suggests that Hitler ought to consider departing. Hitler responded, "Keitel, I know what I want. I'm going to fight in front of Berlin, fight in Berlin, fight behind Berlin." The conference must have been a really sorry affair. Soviet armor was surrounding Berlin from the north and the south, and realizing that the country was about to be split, Hitler authorized Dönitz to take command in the north while others were to go to the south. Hitler seems to imply that he would go south too, or at least that's the impression that some of the attendees got. 250 kilometers to the south, Field Marshal Friedrich Schörner had considerable success in blunting the Soviet attack in the Battle of Bautzen and inflicting on the Kremlin its most serious defeat for the next 77 years. Nonetheless, in other areas the Red Army advance continued. To the south of Berlin, a gap had appeared between the 4th Panzer and 9th Army. Here, General Heinrici was in command. Hitler ordered him to attack in order to close this gap. General Heinrici requested pulling back the 9th Army's right flank to stop it being encircled. Hitler ordered the line be held where it was. Heinrici telephoned the General Staff half an hour after midnight to protest that Hitler's order was unrealizable and hopeless. "I ought to declare, Mein Führer, as the order is against your interest, I request that you relieve me of my command. Then I can go into battle as an ordinary Volkssturm man with a gun in my hand." General Krebs pointed out, "The Führer expects you to make a supreme effort to plug the gaps as far east as possible, using everything you can scrape together, regardless of Berlin's later defense." General Heinrici, however, decided that his loyalty lay with his soldiers and the German people, and not to the dictator living in an underground fairy tale world. He pulled his troops out whilst he still could, although many were cut off, surrounded and eliminated over the next few days. However, this also had the effect of widening the gap towards Berlin through which the Soviets were pushing. In the early hours of the 21st of April, whilst part of his staff was on its way to Berchtesgaden, Hitler probably decided to stay in Berlin, perhaps still believing that the war could be won. Speaking to his two remaining secretaries, Traudl-Junge and Gerda Daranowski, he said, "I must force a decision here in Berlin or go down fighting." In code, Bormann cabled Berchtesgaden with Hitler's decision. The last birthday situation conference brought the news that gaps in the German line in Spreewald to the south of Berlin were bigger than before. Hitler blamed the army